Feel the vibe, take your phone ring off. Tell the girls not tonight.
The big 4-0.
Check, check, check.
You know it ain't getting you.
Wow. 4-0. Is that technically over the hill?
Yes.
Yeah. That'll be a birthday that's coming up soon for me.
That's no lie. That's the realest shit you said on this podcast.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it though? Word, podcast 40. Yeah. So
Walked in here, I asked Matt, what
topics do you have?
what topics do you have?
He
goes,
doesn't have any.
Like none. And then he goes, you ready?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I'm going to find a new co-host.
Okay. So what do you have?
A lot of new music came out. Did you listen to any of it?
Let me see. What did I listen to? No, I don't think I did.
I guess I don't know where to start here. That they dropped an EP that's
I listened to John Bellion.
really dope. John Bellion, what'd you think?
I thought it was. I mean, he always makes good music that like keeps me interested and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's
so
super talented.
that's the thing is, regardless of like if it's the classic stuff that I normally like, you know, I always tend to listen to his stuff all the way through just because it's like way more interesting to me.
It's intriguing.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's always a good listen because he's so damn talented. Like as a producer, as a songwriter, like he makes very full songs.
Yeah.
Like there's no second taken off.
No.
He led me to his album, and him as an artist, when I listen to him a lot, he leads me to a question that I've always kind of dealt with in music. And I don't know if it's a me thing or this is for a lot of people out there. Why is it, at least to me, and you tell me if you agree, so much easier, or it comes across so much better to sing when you're talking about like super, like either super real shit or like very basic, like day-to-day shit. It's so much it comes across so much better when it's in melodic form than when you're rapping about it, to me. And John Bellion's an example because I appreciate some of the things he does with his songwriting. Like he talks about certain situations that you're never going to hear in some rap song.
Yeah.
Like even the last song on his album, like really hit me because it talked about something that you and I can actually relate to a lot with his mom.
Yeah.
But it was something that I kept thinking, like, it'd be so hard to just make like a rap song and have that type of sentiment come across because it's so much is about the feeling.
Yeah. Right. No, I know.
Do you kind of agree with that?
Well, yeah, because there's so much feeling that's involved, that's behind singing. Like it invokes, just by the tone of it, it invokes way more.
It's less about even what you're saying sometimes and how you're saying it. Like,
right.
And that's something that's bothered me as someone that's not a singer, that there's just certain things that are either super difficult to get around and have come across in a good way, or just certain things that I don't think I can even really write songs about because they just don't come across how they should.
Yeah, I can see that.
But John Bellion, I do appreciate that about him. He has a unique voice. He has a unique style of production and writing. Like, you know, it's him, and he won't just talk about what you expect to hear on lots of people's albums.
Yeah.
So, his shit was dope. Actually, a lot of the stuff that came out that I listened to, including John Bellion's, I don't even want to say they didn't have replay value because they do, but there weren't like standout tracks that I was like, okay, let me go put these on the playlist, and these are getting ran back all the time as singles. A lot of them I actually appreciated as a whole as projects, more so than as individual tracks.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that way with John Bellion's. They dropped an EP that's dope. Go check that out. They had like a feature on every. They got one with Jeremiah that's really dope. Smino dropped an album. I know Q's gonna be all about that shit. I listened to it once through. His was very much so. Smino's very much, for lack of a better term, a vibe to me. Like super pleasing to the ears, dope to listen to. But his album was that to me. Like if I have a knock on it, it just kind of ran together because it was so much of that. And there wasn't like one that stood out to me as, oh, damn. But they were all good. They were all what I expect from Smino.
Okay.
So again, I'm not trying to knock it. Like it was really good music.
Right.
There just wasn't one off one listen that I can be like, oh shit, that was the one.
Yeah, that was what that was the one I wanted to listen to, but I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, but yeah, it's dope. There wasn't anything I was disappointed with what I listened to over the last week. I mean, JID dropped his single for his album with J. Cole, which was dope. They're rapping. And Tory Lanez dropped an album. Tory's out because I'm a big Tory fan, so he has a high bar for me, and I don't really know how the general public reacted to his last album. Like, I know it wasn't received poorly, but I didn't think it got the acclaim it deserved. I thought his last album was super, super dope. This one wasn't quite as good to me. Had a few joints that I like. And by the way, some of these ones that I like off these projects, I have a playlist on Spotify. If you go to my page, it's in the artist selection. Just click on that and you'll hear a few of my favorites. But yeah, overall, all the music that dropped, there wasn't anybody I was disappointed in. But there also wasn't the standout project that I was like, holy shit, this guy shit on everybody else.
Holy shit, where'd you find these
Holy
shits?
shit, where'd you find them shits? But yeah, it was good because I know we've had a little stretch here where there hasn't been much new music to listen to as far as projects go.
Right.
And it was a big week.
Yeah.
Do you think John Bellion just makes buttloads of money writing for people and producing for people?
I'm sure. Yeah.
I wonder how you get into that world. Not producing, but writing.
Probably the same way you get into the producing world.
You just get to know a bunch of other people. And once you're in the rooms producing for people, it's easier to get into the rooms writing for people.
Yeah, you got to be a part of that world.
Yeah, that's real.
I mean, that's the thing is I was thinking a lot about that type of stuff recently, and it does make sense as far as, you know, we normally think, oh, like, you know, you got to be a part of that world in order to like get into that type of industry or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like get into that type of job. That's like what it is with every job though.
True. Yeah, that's real.
Like you go to school for a lot of it, but you know, like you can still go to school for like engineering and stuff like that and get into that world a little bit easier and everything, but there's no real school for writing music and things like that. Like,
yeah.
People either fuck with you or you don't.
Yeah, no, that's very real. I mean, knowing people and networking and being in the right place is kind of how everything is going these days. With
some industries are more structured than other industries, but
right,
it's all really about who you know and what your credentials are for that specific thing.
Yeah, that's real. Because yeah, I've always thought that with songwriting and writing for people, like, yeah, obviously some people are better than others for sure, and some people can write for other people. But myself, I've always been interested in that because kind of like we talked about with singing, like I've written songs before that will never see the light of day because I can't execute them vocally. Right. Like I can write singing songs, but I can't execute them. Right. And I would love for someone else to do it. Yeah. But obviously, like I can't get these records to people.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like anything else, but yeah, with that, probably more so than anything, you got to be in like New York or LA or something like that and really network with the bigger artists. Yeah. Or the bigger agencies and stuff.
How'd your fantasy teams do this weekend?
I won 2 of my leagues and lost 1.
You're in 3 leagues?
Mm-hmm.
You lost our league.
Mm-hmm.
How are you? I know you're struggling in ours. How are you doing in the other 2?
I'm in 2nd place in one of them, and out of 16, and I'm in like 4th or 5th out of 8 in the other one. But yeah, I mean, other than the one that I'm in 2nd on, like, it's just kind of been a like weird year. I drafted McKinnon in that other league that I'm like 5th in.
Stupid.
And so it's been an uphill battle for me ever since.
So I was trying to think about different topics. We're always looking for different music things, but every weekend I sit in front of my TV and I watch football and basketball because now it's basketball season.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, might be time. Once in a while I do a couple sports topics here. Might be time for a sports topic.
Oh, I have a sports topic. I forgot to write it down, but I have one too.
Go for it.
So I was watching the state game yesterday, and
I watched a little bit of it, the hoop game.
And then I saw Izzo's press conference, which made me want to talk about this even more because I was thinking it the entire game.
Okay.
Did you see his press conference after he was pissed.
No, I didn't.
And it was because basketball is now starting to go the way of football, where it's like, why do we have to like review and stop the game so much to get all these minute calls right?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, I do remember there was one play I saw in the second half where they went to review to see if the guy like hit one of our guys in the face or something like that. And they were looking at it forever. But Izzo was pissed before that. Like he thought the guy hit our guy in the face, was super pissed, and then they went to go look at the monitor. So I'm surprised that he was mad that they were doing that. There
were so many stoppages. Like so many. And he actually is on this. He goes, like, this will not happen very often, but he was like, I feel bad for the refs. And he was like, because the higher ups are making them call the game this way.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just can't stand it. He even went like at the end of the press conference, he was like, so who likes the way that this is like being done and who doesn't? Like, he actually like took a poll of the press and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, I might be like really old or whatever, but he was just like, I cannot stand the stoppages. Yeah. Like, I can't do it anymore. It's just ridiculous.
I agree with that. I think it's stupid. Like,
it was bad.
Yeah.
This last game.
Well,
it was terrible.
That's a good example to me. Is like they go to the monitor to review if this guy like elbowed Ward in the face. Okay, if you can't figure that out in 30 seconds, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, you're done. If it's not obvious that this guy elbowed him in the face, then stop looking at it and move on.
Right.
Or, like you said, there's certain things that are just, to me, sports. Calls are going to be missed.
Yeah.
Certain dirty play is going to be missed.
Yes.
Now, are there egregious things that, like, if they happen, you'd like to catch them? And if we can catch them by looking at replay, like, should we? Yeah, but it is a very slippery slope.
Especially with basketball, though, because it just ruins the flow of the game.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you cannot keep... And he was even saying, too, that the fouls are even getting ridiculous as far as the touch fouls and everything like that. And he was like, the higher class players, like the ones that are out on the floor the most, are having a hard time staying on the floor.
Yeah.
And
dude, okay. Don't even get me started on fouls in college basketball, because I think it's really hurting the college game. Refs just call fouls way too much, okay?
Yeah.
That's problem A. But if that's going to be the case, the easiest solution to fix college basketball with the foul situation is just make fouling out 6 fouls like the pros. Because
I wouldn't have a problem
it
with
sucks so bad to get into the tournament, one and done, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got a star player that brought you to the tournament.
Yeah.
and a ref in the first 5 minutes decides to call 2 ticky-tack fouls on him, and it changes the whole game.
Yeah. No, I know.
It shouldn't be that way. And it actually does suck for refs, too, because refs make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So you get a charge block call that could go either way, and you call it a block, and that happens to be the second foul for this team's star player.
Yeah.
And the whole game is changed.
Well,
and you get killed. But you have to make tough calls as a ref.
Right.
A couple fouls on a guy should not change the whole damn game.
But I think Izzo's point was to take it a step further and be like, look, they're introducing all these new ways to like call fouls and things like that for the sake of being safe and things like that.
Right.
And he was like, I'm all for being safe, and I'm even all for the game becoming less physical and more athletic and things like that. But he was like, there has to be a physical part of the game.
Yeah.
There has to be. And he was just like, if you don't have that, then everybody just fouls out like all the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know about you, but when I go to a basketball game, I want to see either the highest paid players or the seniors and the juniors and stuff play.
That's exactly why I'm saying 6 fouls is the easiest solution, because you can still call the game the way you're calling the game if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah.
Like Izzo said, if that's what he said is, if you want to take out all this harmful, if you don't want to make it bang, bang, physical game, whatever, okay, call it that way. Just make it 6 fouls. So like you said, the best players can remain on the court.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you got fouling out and getting pulled out of the game because of fouls should be a very rare thing.
Yeah.
It's a super common thing.
No, I know. Well, it stemmed from this play where Nix was going for an offensive... Ward, sorry. Ward was going for an offensive, or maybe it was a defensive, I can't remember. He was going for a rebound. And the guy on Florida Gulf Coast boxed him out. And he backed up as Ward was going up for the rebound. He boxed him out too far, and he came up under him, and Ward flipped over. They called flagrant and ejected him for that.
Really?
For that. And it's a new rule that, like, if it's any sort of like egregious, and that's what it stemmed from.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, he got ejected. I saw it live, and that's where all this stemmed.
That's crazy.
He was like, there were a lot of calls like that and whatever, and Izzo's like, it's not even the ref's fault. They called it right, according to the rules,
right.
But these rules need to change.
That's crazy. That's just someone boxing out. Ejected, bro. It's the whole thing. Like, I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he in multiple episodes of his podcast, this gets brought up, and it's true. It's like whenever somebody says something wrong or whatever, we automatically go to they need to be fired. They lose their job.
Yeah.
Like there are other punishments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing with like people going to prison. Like for non-violent things. Yeah. Oh, you did this? Going to prison. No, there's other ways to punish people.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a way lesser case, but same type of thing. Like, okay, you want player safety, you want to keep people from doing this. Okay, there are lesser punishments to get the point across than to just say, no more game for you. You prepare all week for this. Nope, you're gone. Because you boxed out. Like, it's not even an intentional thing to hurt somebody.
Right. He boxed out too aggressively.
Right. And
like, get out of here.
Call a foul.
Right.
Dude, like we just talked about, it's so easy to foul out in college basketball and get pulled out of the game because of foul trouble. Just call a foul. That's harm enough.
Agreed. Or
call of, was it a second flagrant or something? Like,
I don't even know.
Because I feel like there had to be something else. I don't think it's just
I turned on the game literally 5 minutes before it happened, so I don't know.
So maybe that was his second one, but yeah.
It seemed pretty early in the game for it to be his second, though.
Either way, you shouldn't get ejected for something.
I don't know, but either way, the play itself to even garner a flagrant or whatever they called on him was absurd, first of all. Because he was literally just boxing out. That's all he was doing.
No, it's stupid. I mean, athletics, basketball and football are supposed to be somewhat physical. That's what the games are. So I hate the fact of just pulling somebody out of the game for shit like that. Like, that's what these kids live for. It's what they do. Like, especially in college, these guys are hoping to make a future for themselves. A lot of them in this game, and to just be like, this game's off the agenda for you to try to make a name for yourself because you boxed out too hard. That's shitty.
But I mean, it's the same type of stuff
And
that's
even if they're
going
not
on in the NFL.
Even if they're not going to make something of themselves at the next level, all they have is these games.
Right.
You know, that's a senior, and you just tell them, nope, not this game.
Right. Did you see that hit on the Miami player?
No.
On Sunday, it was like, I mean, hard hit, like unsafe, like hit, legal hit, like not head to head, not anything like that. Just literally came out of nowhere and blocked the dude.
Yeah.
Like, and it was legal, but they called something because it was too hard.
Yeah.
And the guy did get really hurt and everything. And he got knocked out for a second and blah, blah, blah. But it's football, dude. You know that's going to happen. It was a tackle.
Did he hit him in the head?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand that then.
But it was like when you saw it, you were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, and to the refs' benefit, like you could have thought when it happened that he did hit him in the head, but the replay showed that he didn't.
Okay.
And it was hard. It was a hard, really fucking hard hit.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And yeah, it sucks that it happened and blah, 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 but it's football.
Yeah, I'm on the side of safety as well. There's just ways to do this shit without changing.
Well, and if you don't like it, don't play the sport.
Yeah.
Like
and
it's
that's
an
what I mean.
easy
Okay,
thing.
like a receiver's going across the middle of the field, right?
Right.
And a defender lays him out. Like, I'm all for the taking out, the like leading with the helmet, hitting people in the head. Like, I'm with getting that out of
for
here.
sure.
So if you do that,
because
like,
it's not necessary to make the tackle.
Right. So take that off the table. But you going across the middle of the field and you get laid out, dude. Blame the quarterback.
Yes.
Or you have a choice as a wide receiver to like alligator arm that shit. Like,
Right.
don't go for it. Whatever. Like, don't run that play. The defender's there.
Right.
He's there to defend.
I'm pretty sure it was a punt return, and he was coming to make the tackle, and the other guy was just like, nope, and just blocked him and like, boom. Because he didn't even see him. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even one of those running through the middle type of plays that you know there's a risk going on or whatever. Like, it was literally that both of the teams were running at each other, and the guy just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
And just got lit up.
Yeah. I'm with you. So the sports subject that I wanted to tackle today is tanking in professional sports. Specifically the NBA, because I think it's the most logical sport to do it in. Like, it's the most straightforward one. And the reason I was thinking about it is just every weekend I sit down and I watch sports, and sometimes throughout the week with basketball. And we here in Michigan have to deal with the Detroit Pistons and the Detroit Lions. Obviously, the Lions have a long history of being absolutely terrible. Like, basically rivaled only by the Browns in the NFL.
Yeah.
But since about 2010, the Pistons and the Lions have been, in my opinion, the worst thing a sports fan can ask for, which is zero chance to win a championship and zero chance to get a top pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So when you're a GM, you have a job to do, right? And to me, it's win a championship. At least that's what they lead the fans to think. Like, so maybe their job is to make money, because maybe the owner would rather just make money than like win a championship. But I would argue that winning a championship makes you money.
Makes you more money.
Right. Like, becoming a winning organization, winning championships will make you the most money in the long term.
Right.
The Warriors don't have a problem filling their seats. They don't have a problem getting on TV, selling merch. Business is booming for them.
Right.
Because they're a winner.
Yeah.
The Lakers, they can get any player in free agency because it's LA, right? Like, players want to live there. They want to go there. They also have a history of winning. Smaller market teams, to me, have no other option than to do well in the draft. Or, like in the Pistons case, completely overpay for an aging star like Blake Griffin because we're out of touch and love being average. But no free agent wants to come play in Detroit.
Right.
Unless we already have a young, good talent base. Like, example, look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Paul George and Carmelo wanted to go play there because they had Russell Westbrook, and they thought they could win there. How did Russell Westbrook get there? The draft.
Right.
OKC wasn't just going to come out of nowhere with a shitty team and some free agent going to be like, I want to go play in OKC. It's just the nature of the business. So here's what people need to understand. Tanking in and of itself is a strategy. It's not defined by like one terrible season and let's hope and pray we get LeBron.
Right.
Like, it's a decision to be the worst team in the league for at least 3 straight years, if not like 3 to 5.
Yep.
Has to be a 3 to 5 year decision because you might miss on a pick or somebody or you might get hurt. Like, you get rid of your bad contracts, you stockpile draft picks, you sell off your talent, and you start over.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, here's the most logical thought process against tanking that I can understand. I can wrap my head around this one. In professional sports, you don't want to, like, if you think about the big picture of professional sports, like you're a commissioner or whatever, you don't want to reward non-competitiveness.
Right.
Pro sports are entertainment. That's how they make their money, off us, the consumer, tuning into an entertaining game.
Right.
So if a bunch of teams are trying to be bad, that's going to hurt your product.
Yeah.
Also, fans pay money to support the team and be entertained. And, you know, where will the fan support go if you're openly sucking for 3 to 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're truly a fan of a team, you want to win a championship.
Right.
You can tell when the team's openly tanking. I bet a vast majority of those fans would rather come see a team that has a rookie number 1 pick in the draft than a team that's destined to finish 10th in the conference and miss the playoffs. Like, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, if they're both going to be bad teams, I'd rather see this rookie number 1 pick than just this decent team.
Yeah.
In addition,
maybe unless you're Detroit fans, though, we're insane because we just show up to everything.
Maybe, but dude, people aren't showing up to the Pistons games. They cannot fill that arena at all.
That's true.
At all.
That's true.
Okay, so even if sales went down substantially while you're tanking, okay? I would be willing to bet that you would recoup that shit times 1,000,000 with all those top picks, you know, plus you're gonna overcome the down years with all the years of good shit after the tank.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that.
If you do your job right.
Because at the very least, I'm glad you said if you do your job right. Last point, at the very least, you're going to be able to create an intriguing team that fans will be intrigued and entertained by because of these top picks, right? Like,
yeah.
Because to your point, if you do it right, even if you do it wrong, these top picks are interesting for the years that they're there.
Right.
Okay.
But for how long, though?
Right. And to your point of like championships and creating winning, like, yeah, you still got to do it right. I agree. Okay. So take the Philadelphia 76ers. They're the best example. They're the most recent example of like tanking in the NBA. Okay, so it's 2018 now. In 2014, they had the 3rd pick in the draft. Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Baller.
Yep.
In 2015, they had the 3rd pick in the draft. Jahlil Okafor. Bust. Complete bust. 3rd pick in the draft. The next year, 2016, they had the 1st pick in the draft. Ben Simmons. Baller. Last year, 1st pick in the draft, Markelle Fultz. Bust. I'm willing to say it already. Look at this dude's fucking jump shot. It's a joke. Okay? And like so they had two real good picks with a 1st and a 3rd and 2 busts with a 1st and a 3rd in 4 years.
Okay.
And like when they picked Okafor, they could have had Porzingis with the next pick. When they picked Fultz, they traded up to get him. They could have had Tatum. So, yeah, to me, that's 4 years. That's 4 top 3 picks, 2 number 1s. They only got 2 hoopers out of 4 there. So, to me, they did pretty bad with those picks.
Right.
Obviously, throughout those years, you're stacking up other talent and picks and such, and they were just, like last week, able to trade some of those young pieces and get Jimmy Butler, who's a real good player, you know, in his prime right now, not super young, but not old yet. So just like that, from 2014 when they first drafted Embiid till now, 4 years, 5 years, you know, they have a big 3 and they're a force to be reckoned with. Like, yeah, maybe you don't pick them to win the championship, but they could win the championship. Like they got two super young pieces to go with Jimmy Butler. You know, you put the right things around them. They're a force to be reckoned with. So, like, I don't even think they did amazing. Like, I don't think they did a very good job with the picks and talent that they accumulated. I think they could have had a better squad with all that shit, but they did average to bad, and they have this to show for it.
Right.
In 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got the Pistons. Okay? Starting between 2018, I'm going to start with 2018 and go to 2010. 2018, no first-round pick. We traded it away. 2017, 12th pick. 2016, 18th pick. 15, 8th pick. 2014, no first-round pick. 2013, 8th. 2012, 9th. 2011, 8th. 2010, 7th. Mind you, only one of those years did we make the playoffs as an 8 seed where we got swept.
Yeah.
So we don't have a playoff win in all those years. So for all the people that are against tanking because you can't give the fans that shitty product day in and day out for years.
There's already a shitty product.
Which team would you rather be? The Pistons or the Sixers? I can tell you as a Pistons fans, I'd rather be the Sixers.
Yeah.
So, like, as for the argument before that it makes the league less competitive, you know, when I said, like, from a commissioner perspective, right, you don't want that, that's a problem. I agree. But until they change the rules, it's your job to make your team good.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the rules. Like, it's not your job to make the league good. So you're just going to be the dummy team out there for everyone to beat or get better draft picks then? Like, so I'm a fan of the martyr team now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. Happy to be a fan.
It's not entertaining.
And the Lions piss me off with this shit too, but it's not as straightforward as hoop because like one or two guys can't necessarily turn it around on their own as easily. But dude, the Lions haven't won their division since 1993, much less a Super Bowl. We've been 7-9 or 9-7 for the last 5 years, which unfortunately is unprecedented success for the Lions. But it gets you nowhere as a franchise. It's just frustrating to be a fan. Right. So my thing is, as a fan, give me some direction, up or down, because if you decide to actually take the strategy of going down and tanking, it will result in good things, especially in basketball. I just don't understand why you continue to take the strategy of mediocrity.
Right.
Do the higher-ups actually think we can compete with these good teams? They can't. There's no way they can actually think that.
Yeah.
But like when we went out and made that Blake Griffin trade, we're just openly saying, no, we're not going to tank. We're going to be average for the length of this contract.
Yeah.
It's frustrating as a fan, man.
I don't know.
Fan man Gundy.
Dude, I haven't watched a Pistons game in I don't know how long.
They started off this year like 5 or 6-0, and I was watching them, and then they shit the bed since. I mean, you are what you are, dude. There's really good teams in the NBA, and we are not one of them. Like, that's the thing. All those 7th, 8th, 9th picks we got from between 2010 and now, we got Andre Drummond out of one of them. And he's not even a franchise player. He's a really good player.
Yeah.
But he's not one of those guys. And that's the thing, man. You normally think, oh, top 10 pick. That's good, right? It's good. You can get someone like Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
But when you get one of those top 3 picks, you got a really good chance to get a stud.
Exactly.
And that's what you got to do. And it's easy. Just lose. Just lose.
Yeah.
How much better is it to win 30 games than 20? Like, does it really make your season that much better?
No. It's not helping you fill the seats.
No, that's the thing. Even if you make the money argument, it's not. There's no way it's helping you. Go look at a Pistons game and see how many fans are there.
No,
They can't pay people to come.
No.
It's sad, man. It just pisses me off because it's staring you in the face. Like, these guys get paid so much money to do these GM jobs and shit like that. And I know there's probably other circumstances, like they're dealing with their owner, like, oh, we got a chance to go get Blake Griffin. Go get him. Like, that'll fill the seats. It's because dumbasses are making these decisions.
Right. No, it's so stupid.
All right. That's enough with the sports, I guess.
You guess.
Yeah.
Well, we have 2 things that we could do right now. We could take our voicemail or we could listen to our first submission of
Oh shit.
of unsigned music.
Okay, I heard the voicemail number got disconnected, huh?
Yeah.
That must be why they weren't rolling in.
I don't know. That was weird. It just wasn't working, so I had to recreate the number.
All right, let's do them both. Fuck it.
What do you want to start with?
I want to. So someone submitted a song.
We had multiple submissions, but I'm only doing one.
So you've listened to all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm nervous.
No, this is I.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I don't even
right.
want to be.
All right.
I don't want to be swayed one way or another.
I'm gonna play it.
Okay.
All right. Oh, can you unplug your aux?
Yeah.
For some reason, we have a problem with that.
Set 6 alarms and I woke up, both arms asleep but a glass in hand. Had a quick vacay in heaven. It was short and sweet, now I'm back on land. Found the universe in my cup. Last night your pictures came to life. So I really sewed my eyes up. I could almost feel you in real time. And it took me all the way there.
Ooh.
All the way there. All the way there. All the way there. I walked so far that it's hard to start to look down. Shades and I shouldn't to shade my eyes from truth.
That hook caught me by surprise. That shit was nice.
Dope.
But windows line the walls of my room. The past lives and words like a lost and found. She laughed as the cold came in, but I'm rocking a sweet self-pity core. This drink doesn't hurt much either. Not quite the dream, but it's pretty close to when she took me all the way there. All the way there. All the way there. All the way there. To forget right now and to get the feeling back out.
Is that the same person doing the?
I believe so. That was All the Way There by RX Soul.
Dude.
What do you think?
I'm impressed.
You're impressed, huh?
I was just kind of chilling, vibing when the first verse was on. It's got a unique voice, like kind of like when I was listening to the verses, almost like a classic rock voice. And then when that hook came on, it was like a whole change up.
Yeah.
Kind
It was
of
dope.
snapped me out of my vibe.
Yeah.
In a good way.
It was very groovy.
That hook was money, man.
Were you expecting the worst?
I was. I thought honestly, I thought we were gonna get like I thought you were gonna play me some shit that I was gonna have to be like, dude, this is not it. And I don't even know if I want to do this segment anymore because I don't like I don't get enjoyment out of critiquing people's art because it's art, man. Like it's your personal expression, but I get that it's entertaining, and so that's why we're gonna try it out. But I don't get enjoyment out of shitting on people's stuff. But no, I was very, very pleasantly surprised. I was very dope. Who was that again? Say it again.
RX Soul.
Really dope.
RX space Soul.
Very dope.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
He's on Spotify and shit.
Nice.
No, and I think he's actually got a decent amount of like followers and stuff like that.
He should.
So, yeah, I mean, when I first heard it, I thought it was super dope. Like the beat is super groovy. Like reminds me of something that like Knox would make or something.
Did he
like
say
that.
anything about does he produce or?
No, he was just like didn't say. I don't leave any space for them to like.
They just submit
say
a file.
anything. Yeah.
Good
Well, they
shit.
submit a link to like whatever.
Good
So,
shit.
yeah, it was dope. So he just submitted his SoundCloud page, and I saw that he was on Spotify and stuff. So I checked it out, and he was just like, play any of these or whatever. So
Nice.
I just played his top one on Spotify. So
Nice. Hey, 1 for 1 with the submissions. I was definitely nervous.
no, it was dope.
The hook is money. Big fan of the hook.
All right, guys, you got to beat that one. Okay, we got one voicemail this week. It's on Twitter, so remember you can submit on that too. If the voicemail's down, you can always go to Twitter. Mm-hmm.
What's up, guys? It's that one lonely fan from the Netherlands. I hope you still remember me.
I do.
It's been a while since I sent in a question, so I was like, it's about time I sent in another one. So back in 2015, you guys inspired me to start writing as well. And it took 2 years before I finally released a song on any platform, really. That doesn't mean I didn't write any songs before. I think I have like at least 20 to 25 songs I've never released, but I was just not happy with the lyrics or not happy with the beat or a combination of the two. And those songs will probably never be released. And to add to that, a couple of months ago, Cyrus actually decided to release some of his unreleased songs, which he released on SoundCloud only. Personally, I thought those were really good songs, and I didn't really understand why he didn't release them before. So, Becky, I was wondering, do you have any unreleased songs or songs you just weren't satisfied with or anything like that? Do you have those lying around somewhere? And if you do, is there any chance us fans will ever be able to hear them? I personally enjoy almost everything you put out, so it would be really dope to hear those one day, maybe. So yeah, basically my question is, do you have unreleased songs lying around? And if so, is there any possibility us fans will ever be able to hear them? Anyway, I love the podcast, guys. Keep it up. Apollo is a great artist, great new addition to the Specktators collective, and I love you guys. Peace.
You can call in any time because I just like listening to your voicemails. And good question. Yes, I do have unreleased songs. When I started doing the Inkblot singles, I actually released a few of those, and I also started to go back and craft some verses and some other things that I had in unreleased material into songs. Because I'm a proponent of kind of like what you said with Cyrus. You didn't understand why he didn't put those out. I do think most songs that artists don't think are good enough or that they didn't put out for some reason, the fans are going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And this day and age, we always say it, unfortunately sometimes, it is a lot about quantity. Like, get your shit out there. Because people have already forgotten about your last shit.
Right.
So yeah, I'm a proponent of, obviously to a degree. If you got shit you put some time and effort into, put it out. But that's not to say I don't understand why artists don't. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, I don't have some anymore. I did at one point before all these singles. I don't have some batch of just completed unreleased songs, but I'll always have unreleased verses and drafts of songs that just didn't, like I even talked about singing and stuff before. I write songs, I record different things that just don't always turn out the way I want and really won't. They just, sometimes it's just a fail. And yeah, maybe some of the fans would like some of those, but I guess at the end of the day, it's my decision on how I want to represent my sound. And if there's a reason why I don't like these things, I don't put them out. But no, there's not some anymore. There was, but there's not some place that I just have a bunch of unreleased music that's like waiting to be put out of like 30 songs, you know? It's not like that. It's like different bits and pieces of things that maybe I will like. I actually use drafts of songs as like notes. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll need 8 more bars in a verse, and I'll go back to some old shit, which will spark some different lines in different direction, and I'll use a form of some old line that I never used in a new song.
Yep.
In that way. So, yeah, good question. And I would recommend, like he was talking about starting out in music, and he has stuff he was scared to put out and blah, blah, blah. I would recommend starting out. Don't get into the trap of it's not good enough, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. Because I'm always a proponent of make shit to the best of your ability. Make it the best you can. Don't put out garbage if you can avoid it.
Right.
But if you made it the best you could, put it out. Yeah. It has to start somewhere. And if people fucking kill it, if people are like, this is garbage, well, then I got to do better next time.
Right.
And then do a little better. And if they still kill it, do better. But you have to start somewhere or you'll never start.
You're never going to learn unless you put it out.
Yep.
Like, that's and don't expect yourself to be a pro.
Yeah, I've said it before. If I was still putting out shit that sounded sound quality and rap quality how my first song sounded, I wouldn't be here. But if I never put that song out, I also wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Good question.
Dope.
So, what are we at? 40 some minutes. I guess before we get out of here, I want to touch on something I mentioned last week. I posted that video on our pod posted on Election Day last week. And I posted that 1-minute video that basically said, if you have no idea what you're doing, don't vote. If you're uninformed, better not to vote than to vote for the sake of voting. That's basically what I said. I was critiqued by one of my friends because he thought I could have a more productive message, like go get informed and vote. And I totally agree with that. Like, I agree that message is the ideal message, right?
Right.
Like, that's the best thing people can do. I agree. I also think and thought at the time that people have received that message left and right leading up to Election Day. So I disagree with the part that my message was unproductive because the whole population's saying go vote. So me being one of the millions adding to that is not productive to me.
Right.
So I added a separate message and I spoke to certain people and my friend who I won't say because I'm not trying to, it's not I'm not trying to call anyone out, whatever, but my friend who was critiquing me even agreed that uninformed people shouldn't vote, but still wanted to have a problem with me saying it. And I just wanted to say, like, this goes to a lot of things in social media and stuff, but you can think two things. Like, I can think both things. Uninformed people should get informed and vote.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
If they choose to remain uninformed, which a lot of people do, let's not pretend here.
Right.
Then they shouldn't vote. And that's what I said. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Right.
And I even said that in the video, like, of course, the best thing to do is get informed and vote.
Right.
But if you're not, don't vote.
Right.
So it's kind of something, I didn't want to nitpick on this one thing, but it ends up being a bigger picture thing when you think about social media and stuff. Like, I hate the, I agree, but sentiment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, you agree.
Right.
Like, because to me, it comes across as a lot of times as I agree, but that's not politically correct. Or I agree, but that's not what everyone says you should be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and to that I say, well, good. Like, so I actually have a chance of what I'm saying actually has potential to be productive.
I agree, but that's not positive. Like,
yeah.
That's the thing is.
But it's real.
But it's real. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, truth isn't always like rainbows and butterflies. Like, sometimes you need to hear stuff that's not necessarily easy to hear.
Right. And most of the time that stuff ends up being the most productive shit.
Yeah.
And the shit that someone might actually hear and be like, oh, I never thought about that because everyone else is saying just this.
Right.
But you added to it.
Right.
And that's why I said it. So it was funny too, because part of his critique was, he said, it's a reach to think a bunch of people are out here voting just to vote. Well, I kid you not. A podcast that I regularly listen to that you guys know because I reference it, the Joe Budden podcast. The next day, I'm listening on my way to the office at like 8 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear this. Let's make sure the sound's up.
He told you the mathematics after?
That sticker made me really have a talk with myself about what I had to prove to the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't take a picture. None of that shit. I wasn't doing that.
Because I did get happy when I saw people post their sticker and post them at the, you know, I was pleased.
Yeah, it's dope.
But I'm gonna be honest though, like, and I was thinking about this on the way walking into the poll, and I was walking in there and I literally had no idea who the fuck was running, who was doing what. I didn't know any of that. I'm just not the politics guy. I do understand what people went through in this country in order for me to vote, so I don't disrespect that, so I do vote. But I told myself when I was on that line, like, I'm going to start paying more attention to this politics because I shouldn't just vote just to say I voted. I think that's stupid.
Shit, that's
you know what I mean? Like, I think that's stupid. Now, I support because
So it's really a reach to think a bunch of people are voting just now. But I just randomly heard this the next morning on a podcast I listen to all the time. So it's definitely not a reach.
It's not.
And I'm not saying just because I heard that. I'm saying I thought that already. I have reasons to think that already. And then I just randomly hear that. And so that's exactly the shit I was talking about. And props to Maul for admitting that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's dope to think critically about that shit instead of just going with the PC thing and the thing everyone's going to accept. So much more gets accomplished by that than by doing what everyone else does or saying what everybody else says. And I would even, like I even did when I said it, I'm not saying everyone has to be a politician. Like he said, I'm not the politics guy, whatever. And he even, like, if you want to listen to that podcast, it's Joe Budden podcast episode 194, and it's somewhere in the high 20s timer mark, because he goes on to say some other things. And like, to me, like, we were talking about this afterward, you and I, and I'm not asking much of people as far as informed. Like, even if someone tells me, you know what, these people in my life that I really respect a lot of are Republican, or these people that I like, my parents who are my heroes, and I pretty much agree with everything with them and I side with them, they're Democrats. And so that's why I vote the way I do.
Yeah.
You know what? Is that, to me, is that the best? No. But is it perfectly acceptable? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people, like Maul said, I walked in there and had no idea.
Yep. I didn't even ask.
And that's what I'm talking about. And yes, obviously the best thing to do is go get informed.
Right.
But that is separate from if you're not informed.
Right.
And it's election day and it's time to go cast your vote.
And I think you're fooling yourself if you don't think that that's a problem, especially this day and age, just because it is the trendy, the ads and everything like that have made it be the trendy thing to do. And what do people like to do? The trendy thing.
Yeah.
And without even knowing, like.
Right. Yeah. And so that, I just wanted to clear that up, because it's, to me, it was already like, it was pretty clear.
Right.
And I didn't really have no one really had a problem with that, but it was this one person whose opinion I respect, like whose opinion I value. And, you know, I like having conversations about this shit, but, you know, sometimes on Twitter and whatnot, there's not enough characters to say certain things. So.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like it would be great if voting was trendy, but you have to take it a step further.
Right.
Like when I say voting, I mean putting in an informed vote.
Right.
I don't just mean going to the polls and having no fucking idea who the hell's vote or who the hell's running or any of the issues or anything like that. And I do think that is more of a problem than people are willing to admit.
Yes. Yes. And even if it's a small problem, I think addressing that small problem is more valuable than just doing what everybody else does and saying go vote. There's nothing wrong with saying go vote.
No.
But as far as if we're going to actually assess value,
right?
Me going on Twitter and saying go vote probably affects 0 people.
Yeah.
But it makes me get some retweets and likes.
Yeah.
Because everyone agrees.
Well, it's the feel-good statement of the day. Yeah. And yeah, for sure. And I guess I'll just go a step further as far as, like, even when I went to the polls on Tuesday, I was uncomfortable with a couple of the issues that I probably hadn't done enough research on and didn't vote
like some
on
of the
them.
proposals and stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Or even some of the people that were on the ballot.
Right.
It's a personal responsibility that you have to like know. It's beyond the social media. Hey, look, I voted. Here's my sticker type of a thing.
And again, it's the last time I'll say it, but just to be absolutely clear, it's your reason. I'm not telling everyone has to be super educated and have these substantial reasons. Like if your reason is, hey, I generally believe in the Democratic platform and I want the Democrats to control the House and the Senate, so I'm going to vote Democrat. That's a great reason.
At least you have a reason.
That's a great reason, especially because I think the vast majority of even informed people, they don't know every candidate they're voting on and everything they stand for.
No.
But they know their party and they know their general, like, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
As long as you know generally, like that's it. And that's not asking much, dude. You like I said the last podcast, you can do 45 minutes of research and find out a lot of shit.
Right. And I respect Moe openly saying, like, as a black man, he votes because he knows what people went through to give him those rights.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that sentiment. Now, I would say if that's literally the only reason you're voting, that's not a good reason.
Yeah.
But it's a great reason for you to get informed and go vote.
Right. Because here's the thing. That's what keeps getting mistranslated as far as like when people say they gave you the, like, people fought to give you the right to vote. What does the right to vote mean? Like, does it literally just mean the action of like voting?
Exactly.
Or does it mean putting in an informed vote?
Right. Yep. I know. And it's the same. I don't care what party. I don't care whatever. It's the same thing. Same thing.
Right. And if somebody wants to argue with me that somebody, like, people fought to just literally give me the right to like actually like mark on a ballot and send it in regardless of what I think about it, like if I've thought about it,
yeah,
then we can have that argument. But I think that
right, because it is regardless of what you think about it. But it's not regardless of if
I've thought about it. That's what I meant.
Right.
If I've thought about it.
Right. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up, and not that it really needed. I just thought there was important things that could branch off of that. But yeah, that's about it. Shout out to everyone that did put in an informed vote, though, because I know that's the majority of people, and props to everyone for believing in something and going out and casting their vote, because that's important.
Word. Is that it?
Yeah, we got a special guest next week.
Oh, yeah. Cyrus is going to be on the podcast to update us on what the hell has been going on with him. Also, new merch today at some point. And I don't know when that will be, but it will be some point
Probably
today.
tonight.
Probably tonight.
Because we won't even be getting it in.
I don't know when it's going to be delivered.
Well, that's what I mean. We don't even technically have the merch in our possession right now. So fingers crossed.
Right.
It's been a huge pain in the ass. I feel like we've said this at the end of every podcast for 3 weeks that we have new merch on the way, but
right. But it will be today, and we will get it up as like fast as we can. So
that's what she said.
Anything else? I don't think so.
I think that's it.
All right. Should I play anything? Am I missing anything as far as like we don't have next week? I'll play your upcoming song. But what?
Is that 1 hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it says 2. I was like, what? I was like, no way. We've been here for 2 hours. It was like 40 minutes a second ago.
All right. Well, until next time. Later.
Killing it.
Oh, shit. You know what? Unplug your shit. I can't play anything without that shit. All right. Peace out.
Okay, line me up. Swear I'm getting faded. This career of mine is going out to all the chicks I dated. First I couldn't get them, then I got them and they dumped me. Then I got them and I skated. It's whatever, now they love me. I'm so chilly, really. I could see my team making a million. If I'm the man in LA, I'm the man in any city. For now, I'm anonymous. They don't know the answer, but I'm what the problem is. The real is back. You fall off.